Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo. It is Friday, and I am here for a brand new show. We just ran the Hype Beast poll, and coming out as the winner, to my surprise and the surprise of many other people, was 86. I really thought one of the big ticket shonens would take this one, and I was wrong. So, now we're here to find out why the audience thinks this is the best option. And I don't know yet. I've heard little bits and pieces of what I think are the reasons. A lot of people are claiming that the general visual flow and direction of this show is masterpiece worthy, or at least masterful to some extent, which I think is pretty interesting given that the director, Toshimasa Ishii, hasn't really directed anything before. He's done some episode direction, he's done some storyboarding on a variety of shows, but this seems to be his directorial debut. I might be wrong, I might just not have seen it on the list, I might have fucked up, but I don't think he's ever directed a show before, and that's pretty interesting because now he's directing a show. As far as I know, this is based off of a light novel. Fine. It's where stories start these days. Fine. And it's coming out of A1 Pictures, and it came out just over the course of this past year or so. And that's all I know about it. I've heard that there are mechs. I've heard that there is war. I've heard that there are cool emotional themes and well done storytelling. So I'm excited for all of those things. But mostly I'm excited to get into this show, give the first episode a watch, and see if we can parse why people care. Why people like this. Why important. What important about show? Why matter? Because it seems like to some people it matters and they want me to talk about it. And so I will endeavor to do my absolute best to do exactly that, to watch the show, tell you what I'm thinking about while I'm thinking about it, and then spend some time talking about what I was thinking about after we've thought about it and watched it and stuff. So, in the nature or in the vein of doing that, I've got the show up and ready to go. We're gonna watch it in just a second. There will be a big discussion at the end of this episode, I'm sure, because there won't be any at the beginning of this episode because it's all new content, all new information. I got nothing to go off of except that we need to dive in. Yeah, we're going to spend some time on the YouTube video discussing the episode, probably talking about all the things in it, maybe making some predictions that will invariably be fully wrong, because 23 minutes is a limited period of time to experience a show and come up with predictions for how things will play. But we will be doing that. And then there will be, of course, the picture-in-picture version, which you can find linked in the Describble-de-doo, where you can actually watch the video along with me, and then you can come back to the YouTube version for the discussion stuff. Cool? Cool. YouTube version, of course, will have a timer. It'll go beep, 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 boop, 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 beep. And on the beep and the green light is the frame when I start playing the video, so you can sync up your own video with my video, and we're good to go, right? Cool. And finally, thank you all to all of the Patreon people, all the Patreon supporters who voted in this poll and made comments about what shows they wanted to see. If you want to help vote in the next poll or get early access to this show and all of the other shows on my channel, you can acquire all of those goodies and all of those things via the Patreon, which will also be linked down in the description. Please check that out. There are no ads on any of my content, and the reason for it is that I don't like them. I think it's wrong. I think it's ethically wrong to parasitize content with advertisement. And so I ask of you that if you enjoy this content and if you would like to support the continued existence of this channel and the continued existence of me as a human being, because I need food and also to pay rent, and those things are important, heading over to the Patreon and throwing me a buck or two or $5 or whatever you feel like is a huge way it's actually the only way that I make money. So it's the way to do that. So please consider doing that if you enjoy the content. And we're off. So I've got episode 1, subs please version. Should be standard, basic subs, official subs. Shouldn't be weird. If there's a better subtitle group that I should be using, let me know soon so that I change it soon. But for now, subs please, episode 1. I've got it up and ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions, as mentioned before. Picture-in-picture version with a video up there, available in the description down there. Timer-based version will be up on YouTube, and if you'd like to sync that up with your own copy of the episode, you can totally do that. Just get your copy ready, because the PiP timer to count you down will be coming at you right now. Let's find out what this show is about. Train. Undertaker. Handler 1. Lows and Growlfs. Okay, that's a war front. This is cool looking. Wonder who this voice is. What? Oh, there's spider mechs. There's CG spider mechs. Oh, fuck. Well, that's bombast. I don't love this guy's voice in here. Why is Handler 1 freaking the fuck out? Oh, okay. I don't know what just happened. And peace. And a lily. And a girl. And she has white hair and siblings. And a military uniform. And she's hot as hell because main character girl. Cool, cool, cool. Why is she saluting the Yuri lilies of power and Yuri? Ah. What's the symbolism of leaves, of petals falling from it? I don't know. Oh my god, the record skips I thought was me. I thought that was my headphones being fucked. Is this your mother or your sister? So clearly she's, oh, there's trauma in this household. Wires, read like Lane, all 85 districts. So is 86 the 86th district? Everybody's white-haired. Why is everybody white-haired? Okay, and we've got history, culture. San Magnolia. Of course, this is some bullshit. Unmanned combat units. Juggernauts. Okay, so we're using manned versus unmanned. Uh-huh. Ethically responsible. On our side, but they've been murdering thousands, right? Our nation's righteousness. Wicked empire. Great. I hard don't believe anything that guy just said. Or that lady. Welcome to the real deal, the military HQ. Hey, the soldiers are fucks. Well, because they don't actually fight, right? She's a major. And that's somebody related? Or somebody she looked up to? Those pigs. But they don't put their lives on the lines. They're fucks. Doll loving? Science girl. Uh-huh. Character animation's been good so far. Nothing stellar, but good. Where's the conflict? Hmm. Mm-hmm. The country has no conscience because we're fighting a falsehood war. Oh. So that's the second person we've seen take one of those off actively. Are they conscious? They are, aren't they? Drones, they're not drones? Are they actually people piloting those? Is it a lie? Okay, is this your battle sim setup? Is this where you fight from? Okay, there's that. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Iris scan, voice recording, sure. Neat. That goes around the neck. Pleiades processor? She's syncing with the drone units? She's handler 1 now. Those are people. That must be red-eyed guy. The guy we saw inside the thing. They're not inhuman. They're a different race? Inhuman. Question mark. Okay, this is in the past. So this is how our characters meet, but across a boundary. Undertaker, Falk, yeah. So is this a racism thing? Okay. Lena. Got it. That's a good moment. Your father's dead. I gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, mother. Not quite, huh? Undertaker's the problem. Why? Hmm. The processor. He's just too hardcore, isn't he? Jesus. Sick. This is really interesting. Wow, okay. I don't love the camera movement with her, but I understand why they're doing it. There hasn't been anything jarring yet. Not one thing, which is really distinct for an A1 show. Like, it's unfortunate that we have to do all this exposition, though. Officially. But those are people. We're gonna find out by the end of the episode exactly what's going on in these military units. Your father believed that too, and he's dead because of it. Done. Sir, yes, sir. Hmm. Ha 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 ha. Oh. Yeah, that's not a lie. Oh. 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 Neat. Ah. Yeah, all is well. Otsukare-sama. Ai. Service. What does the raid device sync? Thoughts? Information? Ooh, pigs. Again, it's a race thing, right? Streams of good and evil by... Oh, man, there's so much text there that doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, so it can sync anything, but there's a limit. That's interesting. There's a lot of this exposition. It's really necessary for us as entering into the story, but it does change the flow of the episode in a negative way. They're doing a really good job of it, but it's not ideal. It's why we started with such bombast in the first moments. We had to. Had to. Uh-huh. That war never ends. No. Oh. They die quickly anyway. No, this war will never end. It's too entrenched in the society. It's like patently obvious, right? Okay. So we use manufactured food constantly? How far future are we? And again, this is a way of introducing interesting things to the story, but clearly. That was good. That was good split foreground background. Potential marriage there's a hierarchy built into this society as well. Ugh. Gross. With his who? With his mistress? How does this work? What's going on? So this is what she sees. Pleiades is dead. More are dying. But she lost almost half of them. They're pulling this mystery together really well. Mm-hmm. Eh. It's so spooky. So spooky. Oh, very fun. How very fun. Fun fade as well. Okay, 2148. So we're 100 years, 150. Are those new lilies? They are new lilies. Interesting. Death, rebirth, death, rebirth. Doesn't matter if the flowers die, you can just replace them with new flowers. Is she gonna go Link? Out of combat? Cool. Is that Fiend? No. Okay, we're good. Good, because that's not enough. We're going to cut over to him now. Yay! Good, the other side. So, bright, shiny, clean whites. Dirty, fucked up dirtiness. This ya boy. Red eyes. Red eyes. Hi, Kirito. He's not Kirito, but he's close. I mean, it's an A1 Pictures show, so. All right, here's our lovable group of goofballs who go and die on their own, and they are all children, essentially. And they've all got these clipped ears, like pigs, like livestock. But they live happy, rural, country lives and have access to the things that the people in the cities don't. Eh. Are, indeed. What the fuck? Oh. Drawings of all their handlers. Is that her dad? No. Of course not. Of course, her dad is actually dead. He reads lots of books, which we knew from the beginning. That's an image of the same woman in graffiti on the wall. And he's distant from everybody. Yeah, and there's the idea there. Pig. Oh. Okay. That's fucking creepy. What's with the people with the masks on? Okay, so that's what was going on. White pig? Able to go? Everyone was able to go? And the voices of the dead? Does he mean like release? They were able to go, like their souls were able to pass on or something? Is there actual metaphysics here or just superstition? Fuck, that was a fun transition. I like that very much. Yeah, welcome to the real world. What are those little flying things? Okay, so this is a dead. These are all the dead. What will he do? Shinigami, what is your thing? And they're all going to watch. He's going to end them, right? At the moment, yes, you do, my friend. Yes, you fucking do. You don't want to be in pain right now. So he gets out. He approaches. Ah, that's the guy from the day. So that was our split. Hello. The guy who talked about the Reaper coming to guide us. Hi. Yep. Shinigami. That's me. The Undertaker. The Gravedigger. Oh, he doesn't forget. That's why he's here. Bang blam. Cool. Blink, blink, blink. Gone. Is he cutting out his tag? Able to go. Brother's voice? Little piece of his tag, and he takes that with him. Was he able to go? He's like shepherding their spirits onward, or at least pretending to, so that all the rest of his squad believes that he is, because it gives them a little bit of hope. And the life goes on. This is just their life. This is just what they do. 129 days till I end my service. How does that work? Cujo. Oh, how big is the list? How many little bits and bobs of metal do you have, bro? War is here. The new handler has arrived. Is woman? He's the artist. I am Undertaker. Ha! Yeah, you got it. Nailed it, bro. Aw, so chipper. No fucking clue, huh? And that's end. Oh, this must be the OP. This is the OP. Okay, face to face. See if we can parse anything else. I'm intrigued. I'm deeply intrigued. This is cool. Who is this? Is this the same band that did one of the Banana Fish openings? Because again, it reminds me of Dance That Gavin Dance. It's got this like lilting vocal, and then what it's doing with the I don't know. I think it was just up and I just missed it. Great looking CG stuff. Another chunk. Oh, dying blood flowers. Next episode, Spearhead. And that's Fiend for the episode. Okay. So, where do we start in terms of unpacking what we've experienced here? I've got a lot of notes down, but most of them are just informational. Juggernauts are unmanned. She is a major. Some people call her the doll-loving princess. District 86 is its own district. Shinigami is the processor, and he destroys handlers. Why they call them processors, I'm not sure. Maybe because they process information coming from the base and turn it into inputs into the machine. The white pig is an interesting one. San Magnolia, of course, and a lot of understated sort of semi-background exposition. So let's start with a quick rose and a thorn, right? Like a quick rose as in a good thing in the episode, and a quick thorn as in something that irks me about the episode. I'm going to start with the thorn because it's actually pretty simple and we can overcome it really quickly. Here's my only thorn for the episode, really. My only thing that is like meh for the whole episode is that there's a ton of exposition. There are a ton of characters who sit down across tables from each other and talk about stuff that mostly they should both know. But we overcome that pretty quickly. Here's why. 1, I recognize this is a light novel being adapted into an anime. 2, totally new world, 150 years in the future, gonna be some different stuff. Gotta get it explained to the audience. Got no choice. 3, the way that it's done in every instance is pretty fucking subtle. They are talking about things that should be probably common knowledge in the world, But at the same time, while they're doing that, they're talking around points that are common knowledge that we just have to infer. Nobody outright says the people who are running, like in the first half of the episode, nobody outright says there are people in these supposedly autonomous juggernaut drones that we are using to attack. Except we just don't view them as humans. So they're not people. Nobody says that outright, but that's clearly the case. And so during the entire conversation that our major has with her uncle, that's in the back of our minds. There's this idea, and it's presented to us and set up for us in a really effective way where we really don't have this character express her thoughts at all before this. What we have is a bunch of other characters express to her or to each other about her their thoughts of her, right? Like the people, it's really important that we have the sequence of her walking through all the soldiers, big quotation marks around that, around walking through all these soldiers and having them go, hey, hey, it's her, right? And it's not like in any way, there's not a sense of, hey, hey, it's her, that's the president's daughter, right? Or like that's the girl in the school who everybody thinks is really cool or is too good for this place. None of that feeling. It's all about the way that she treats her squads. She treats them like they're people, and that's not how it's supposed to be. So she's a doll lover. She loves the inhuman. She cares about the drones. Pretty interesting stuff. Pretty well done. She's also really deeply humanized for us over the course of the episode, seeing her space, seeing the flowers, seeing the things that are around her, and seeing her interactions with her obviously friend who's in the R&D department, and the moment where her whole any demeanor, any armor that she's put on drops when she's told that there are real eggs and real milk, which I'm gonna guess is gonna be a connection moment between her and the main character and the 86ers in the first place, because it stood out to me as something that they have that the city lacks. And there's a lot that they have that the city lacks because they are an in spite of crew. And by this, I mean, oh god, spoilers for Stormlight Archive. It's not that much of a spoiler. It's pretty much first chapter of Stormlight Archive. It's not really a spoiler, but sorry anyway. They are an in spite of crew. They are a group of people placed in an extremely dire situation whose only choice is to continue in that situation, and their only way to find any sort of value and like live in this way and not crash and shatter themselves is to keep on going. And also to find companionship in each other and in themselves. This is Bridge 4. 86, they're Bridge 4. It's the same thing, right? It's the same idea. In Stormlight Archives, there are these bridge crews. They have to run literally carrying a giant bridge into oncoming arrow fire, and they all just die. They die. They are expendable, and the reason that they are used is because there are some rich people who don't give a fuck about their lives, and it's cheaper and faster to use humans to run these bridges than it is to use beasts of burden to carry the bridges, because it's just faster and cheaper, and they can always find slaves. That seems to be the same situation. When we first meet Bridge 4, they are in a position where they are just distraught. They are just downtrodden, destroyed, hate everything, sad boys who are going to die, and they're sad about it. And over the course of the story, Kaladin is able to instill in them a sense of pride in their work, as well as a sense of community. And so what we see when we open on this group of people in 86 is a group that already has that sense of pride and community, and that's really interesting because of the circumstance that they're in. It indicates work. It indicates that somebody has put in work to make it so. And more than a couple people. Probably that old guy, probably the woman who is out watering flowers, and probably our main character are instrumental pillars in keeping this group alive and keeping them laughing in the face of their imminent death, because they are dying in spades, in droves all the time, right? We meet a character and then snap to their death at the battlefield in this episode precisely to show us that experience, right? It's not a flashback, it's a flash forward, and it could be the same day. Sucks. Fucking sucks. But they don't act like it sucks. They act like a community, like a family, like they have things going on, like there's a purpose for them. They celebrate their getting closer to their discharge, their ability to be free. They're celebrating their experience instead of being destroyed by it. And that's pretty cool because I think it's a strong, important, powerful trope in anime. In anime, to have characters who are in dire situations struggle against them. Rage against the dying of the light, that kind of stuff, right? Or fight against the dying of the light. What is it? Rage. Yeah, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage against the dying of the light. Great. So that's my like my rose and my thorn and some of my other initial thoughts. So some other things become immediately important. How much combat versus how much communication are we going to have in this show? Unclear. Probably a mix of both. They've already done all the CG modeling for all of these mecha spider things, and they're pretty fucking cool. This opening scene is bombast entirely, and it's for a reason, right? It's the same reason that episode 1 of Goblin Slayer is all bloody fucked. But we start with this bombast and this promise of what might come in the future, because the entire episode is going to be characters talking to each other and expositing about stuff. So we gotta have some action. Otherwise, people are going to go boring and they're going to leave. And it's pretty cool. The way that everything is layered together, the sort of ethereally blue-pink sunset landscape reads as war-torn but beautiful. The explosions are really cool. The three-dimensionality of everything is very fun. Reminiscent of Gup, but like the camera is much more in the fray than the Girls in Panzer CG camera. And they're also having a lot of fun with moving that CG camera around to the point where it might be too much, but at the moment it's just bombast at the beginning, and that's totally fine. And of course, the drive in, through, and to your main character boy's eyes, bing, bong, bang, and that brings us into our title. I think this is a pretty solid opening sequence that leads into our hard cut, bam, to the other side of the world, which I think is also really important. In fact, I think that the hard cut is more important than the existence of the CG sequence. The big battle sequence at the beginning is important, but it's mostly important to have the juxtaposition, because we're going to spend our next few minutes with the female character, Misley, I forget her fucking name. It started with an M and there was like an L in there somewhere. I don't know. All right, meet girl. Girl is girl. Girl is cute. Girl has family. We see little family. We see big family, big old military family, military strategy books, etc. And it's going to be really important to jump over and look at what books he has. So I'm actually going to do that right now. So she gets up, gets all her clothes on. We don't loot her yet, but we will soon. She salutes the flowers, which is interesting given that they're lilies. So lilies are usually Yuri. They usually like Hanakotoba, gay stuff, gay girls. Not the read that I get here. Seems like maybe it's related to her father or to the death of somebody else. I'm not sure. And then there's the added layer of symbolism to it, which is that the petals are falling from it, and she replaces them each time, which I think is meant to be a solid like analogy to the squatties, right? To the pigs who can just be killed and it doesn't matter. We just find more and we replace them somehow. All right. We get our record skips, our perfect, pristine, white everything inside, and an uncomfortable breakfast with mother. And we get this moment where she eats, we don't speak, the record skips, she narrows her eyes, and we leave this place. Okay. Just, again, no eye contact, notices her, closes her eyes, sort of sighs. Must be about the marriage thing, right? Record skips, eyes narrow, we cut away. And we cut away to a scene with lots of these trolley wires, which to me, just after Lane, read as restrictive, things like that. Like, the sky isn't open is a thing to me. And we start to notice things about this society. It's reminiscent of, like, imagery of Tokyo, for sure. There's a lot going on. Everybody has white hair. Literally everybody has white hair and white skin. All the models and all the mannequins have white hair. Everybody has white hair. And there's a military broadcast of propaganda that is clearly all full of falsehoods. Let's parse it. The white hair thing is there's a race thing going on. This is a racial distinction, clearly. Where it comes from, why it happened, unclear. Unclear. Is this an existent racial thing? Or is this the sort of thing where, like, the racial group that was downtrodden tried to rebel and then lost their rights because they're useful as slaves? Unclear. Let's parse this section, and then we'll talk about it in a broader sense and relate it back to the real world a little bit. This gets into stuff that's that's geopolitically complicated. Extremely complicated, and not things that I fully understand, and things that I studied a long time ago but haven't studied for a while. Still, we'll see how much I feel confident saying about this, but I don't want to go out on a limb and say a bunch of stupid shit. So we'll see. Let me go through it, and we'll talk about it in context of manufacturing consent, which is a Noam Chomsky piece on the way that seemingly or semi-democratic nations, which this does not seem to be, although it does call itself a republic, so it might be a semi-democratic nation. Interesting. In fact, with the propaganda, it does read as a democratic nation. That's really interesting. How democratic nations go to war for their own purposes, against what would be the better judgment of their populace via falsehoods, via lies. It's pretty interesting, and it's pretty relevant to those of us who live in a first world developed country that has a history of using unmanned and manned warfare to instill hegemonic power on the rest of the world, the United States. So, pretty relevant. All right. The Legion, mechanized infantry drones belonging to the Jihadian Empire, took severe damage from our own nation's unmanned combat units, the Juggernauts, and were forced to withdraw. Damage taken by our side was minimal, with no human injuries or fatalities, which is only a thing that can be said if you don't view those as humans. Combat via highly advanced, ethically responsible drones, which they're obviously not, has resulted in 0 fatalities on our side, which is a lie. The day when our nation's righteousness finally smashes the evil remnants of the wicked empire is not far off. Glory to the Republic of San Magnolia, and to the 5-color flag. Blue, red, white, black, gold, and white in the middle. Interesting. Very interesting. We are the glorious Republic. The Empire invaded us. We are crushing the evil Empire. There's a moral crusade going on. Finally, we will wipe out their last remnants, and we are doing it ethically because there are no people dying on our side. It's a pretty solid set of propositions, huh? How many of them are true? Well, the evil empire part is false. Guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Doesn't exist. Stupid. Nations aren't evil. Nations aren't evil. It doesn't happen. Nations are power hungry. Leaders can be evil. But nations are just hegemons. They're organisms. They desire more resources to survive, etc., etc. Now, the individuals in play can be a different thing, but calling that the evil empire is pretty obviously propagandistic falsehood. It's just silly. It gives us a moral reason to go on this crusade and to get people who care about such things involved. And it's really important to have that moral aspect if you want to convince a democratic nation that going to war or staying at war is a valid pursuit or is like a good thing that should be done. So it's really important that we call them evil. I wonder if the evil empire are all dark-haired people. I'm going to guess probably. I also wonder if the evil empire uses manned combat units or unmanned combat units, because it's way worse for us if we're just throwing quote-unquote pigs, non-humans, at literal robots, right? First off, it would prove that we don't actually need the humans in there to pilot these things, and that would be a thing. And it would also mean that they're fighting for nothing, which is an interesting concept. Okay, so we do our second really solid, well, it's actually our third, I guess. So hard cuts. The first hard cut is from war to here. Hard cut, boom. Our second hard cut is from breakfast to outside, right? From here, the eye, outside, boom. Then we show all this stuff. Oh, this moment is important too. Yeah. Equivalent of Roman statues, right? Conservatism. Conservatism doesn't mean more money for rich people, tax breaks for the rich. That's not what it means. Conservatism, politically, should mean sticking with tradition, sticking with the things that have worked before. And liberalism literally should be more liberal, should be more about changing things and looking to change and improve things. Progress versus static versus what's the opposite of momentum? Inertia. Progress versus cultural inertia. That's the push-pull of society, generally. Now, our current political system doesn't work that way because it's fucked. It's been co-opted by external interests. It doesn't work for the interests of the people. It never has. Or at least it hasn't for decades and decades and decades. But what we see here is classic conservatism, right? Kind of like ancient Greece. This is the way that things were done. These are the people that we look up to. We hold them on high and continue in their shadow or in their footsteps. Pretty interesting. Okay, and propaganda, and we hard cut from propaganda finishing to in here, where the soldiers are. Falsehood, reality, and we've got this Valkyrie in the background. I don't know what she actually is or who she actually is, but this Valkyrie figure, this warrior woman who is the woman of the nation, right? Of San Magnolia. She might be Saint Magnolia herself. It's quite possible. And in front of her glorious shining white statue, carrying the flag, sword aloft, are a bunch of fuckboys. Because nobody in this military gives a fuck because none of them see combat. There's no seriousness here. There's no sobriety here. Literally no sobriety. They're all fucking drunk. And the reason is because they don't care. They're disconnected from warfare. And this is pretty solid political commentary on the disconnectedness of the general populace from the possibilities of warfare, as well as the specific disconnectedness that you get when you use unmanned drones, or in this case, when you use manned drones and say that they're unmanned. All bad. All bad. But this is just normal. You got dudes hitting on chicks. You got fucking drunk people in the fucking morning. It's the morning, right? Like it's breakfast time. And this hall that should be a holy place is just chock full of fuckboys. And they do it as she looks up at this statue of this warrior goddess, right? And someone calls them pigs. And she hears it, and she's about to go in. It was a pretty crazy fight. I bet at least 5 of them died. So on the ground, we know that they're real people. Not that any people were on board. And the fact that they're laughing indicate like that she sees this, but they're laughing like this. These are the people who are taking the lives of those soldiers into their hands, right? Of course she's pissed at it. And of course they deflect that. Haha, she's the doll-loving princess. Ha ha ha, hee hee ho ho ho. And she glares and glowers and makes up her mind to go toward them and start talking. And of course, hello, Annette. Annette is here to prevent this situation. Great. So we move along. This isn't the battlefield. We're inside the Grand Mur. The big Mur? Big wall. I should have known that. Mural is the root. You're the weirdo for taking everything so seriously. Speeches. And then, what's that processor's problem? He's just a part. This is clear. And the people who run the things are not people. They are just part of the machine. Interesting. Very interesting. That's right. We're from District 1. Why do we have to listen to bitching from the pigs in District 86? Hierarchy, difference, 1%, 99% sort of situations, all that jazz. And he's disrespectful toward the tech as well. They're not drones. They're people. Why do you care so much? It's unclear. She doesn't have a full answer. The answer to us is because it's the right thing to feel, right? Pretty obvious. But she doesn't have the ability to reach out and grab that answer because culturally it's not true. And then beep, 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 Legion approaching. Okay. To the room, to battle. She pulls up her thing, pulls up her group, her squad, Pleiades processor, which was her previous group, and people are dying. You're so kind to us, Inhuman 86. It's a very sweet human lady. And there's this nature, this, like... I don't know. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything, right? It's very sweet. It's very nice of you. It doesn't do anything. Her niceties don't change anything about the realities of warfare for the people who are driving these mechs. And they don't change that she's their commander. She might be more pleasant for them to deal with, but they're still going into war at her behest. And that's not chill. So that's interesting. Okay, cut over here. Big exposition sequence here. Unit's handler is leaving. We need a successor. It's the Spearhead Squadron. They're an ace unit. You should take this on. I think the lighting in this whole scene is really pretty, and I think the lighting on their heads and hair is also really pretty. I'm sorry, Uncle Jerome. And we get this moment of kindness and compassion between them, which is cool. Then we hop back to the realities of the job. This is the Shinigami. This is the Reaper. The processor destroys the handler. And there's fun camera work here. This is something that I want to point out, because it's not exceptional. It's not stellar. It doesn't blow my mind. But it also never gets in the way. And I think it was right around this point, during the reaction, you might be able to go and look and see me kind of about to say something, and then I turn my attention back to it. And here, let me give you a little insight into my thought process during the moment that was happening. What I wanted to say was, there's been nothing at all offensive or jarring up to this point. And I did eventually say, there hasn't been anything jarring. That was what I wanted to say. Was that the shot reverse shot, the back and forth between the characters, the way we've even done our, like, jarring cuts between frame, like, scene to scene, these harsh cuts, it all works pretty well. It all flows pretty well. The eye that's present here, that's moving our camera through this story so far, is a good eye. And I think that means that Toshimasa Ishii has a good fucking eye. And that's really cool, because not everybody does, and not every animation director or director has a good eye for how to put cuts together. Like, in some circumstances, this spinning pullout shot would be really jarring and really weird, but instead it's slow and it's solid. And we come in and we hit these sharp Dutch angles for this sequence, and they're not jarring, they're not bad, they're fine. I think we're breaking shot reverse shot as we do this. No, we're holding it. We're holding the line, the 180-degree line. Yeah, we're still on this side, left side, right side, left side, right side, left side, right side, left side. She jumps up, holding. Yeah, we stay on that side all the way through. It's textbook, but it's also better than textbook. It's good. Officially, there are no humans on the battlefield. So he repeats the party line. Even though they're family, there's this disagreement here. What we're doing shouldn't even be allowed. And I will say, I don't love these. I don't love these camera movements with characters. This is a very A1 Pictures thing to do. I understand that a lot of people like them. I don't love them, but I don't hate them either. And her father had similar ideas, and I'm guessing that he died for them. It's just my guess, but I don't know. All right, do your best, kid. And away we go to here. All right. It's probably nothing. Nope, they've really been dying. And here we get our tiniest bit of Savyasu. It's very understated, and I like it. It is, however, leering. I talk about this distinction in fan service pretty frequently. There's a pretty big difference between when a character controls the camera and when the camera is being controlled by the ethereal male gaze. This is clearly an example of the second. Yeah, she's not drawing our attention to her sexy bits. We're looking at her sexy bits, and it makes me feel weird. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I know other people like it. I don't like it. I want to take this character seriously, and I understand that this doesn't make her not serious, but we just have to sexualize this character this hard so that we can sell figurines and stuff? Come on. Ugh. Blech. Whatever. All right. Nothing wrong with the raid device, on, and I actually do want to look at this shit. I don't think that this is real. Yeah, this is all fucking lorem ipsum text. It's actually absurd. Present our PowerPoint templates because our PowerPoint templates and slides are effectively color-coded to prioritize your plans. They automatically highlight the sequence of events you desire. Down toad? What? Download and present our something PowerPoint templates because you are working at that Tej with an air of royalty. Contrary to popular belief, lorem ipsum is not simply random text. It has its roots in a piece of classical Latin literature, 45 BC, making it over 2,000 years old. Yeah, okay, great. So it's a thing about lorem ipsum text that is this. But the visual is more important. It indicates that we can split brains with people. Interesting. We can share sensations, and we use it to share hearing. So, all of his folkarinos, all of his handlers claim that they hear the voices of the dead because he carries them with him, right? I wonder if they actually can, if the mechanics of the raid system can actually cause that, can actually, like, do that. Or if he's just schizophrenic and we hear that back, like, that shit just breaks the system. Who knows? Could be either. But it's a spooky thing that's pretty interesting. Share sensory data. And we use it only to share hearing. If we shared sight as well, it wouldn't work. Too much load on the brain and you don't come back. I question this. I question this pretty solidly. Is this true? What if we could share more? What if we don't share more because having that level of empathy with another human being makes you actually have empathy for them, and that would be bad because we have to be able to kill them? I don't know. I don't fucking know. My father was one of the authorities on the blah blah. Principles were developed by someone else. There's a lot that we don't know. Okay, a lot of stuff that we just don't know about. And it's cowardly. Yes, of course it is. Here you go. Here's your band. Also cake. And we get this cute moment of being cute. Okay, great. Ooh, where's the snap to? There's a snap to moment. Here. Yeah, this was good. Okay, this is good. Focus in the back. She comes up. Camera follows. Gulp down. Where does the fuzz start? Where does the fuzz start? Oh, there. Okay, cool. Camera zip shifts to focus on the foreground at the same time that we do the movement. Combining those two together works real good. Works real good. And in general, in general framing, foreground background distinction in this show has been really good so far. Really clear cut and really distinct. There hasn't been a lot of movement foreground to background, which is fine. It's hard to do. I understand that. I get it. That's sort of the KyoAni special, is have foreground and background either both in focus or like both interesting, and then have things move in between them. But it's really hard. Okay, sounds like you got a good match. I did all this thing with a card and my lipstick kiss, and I left it in the mailbox of the place where he lives with his mistress. And she said he's a marriage prospect? Do white hair men in this world fuck non-human women a lot? Sounds like it. It actually does sound like it. I'm going to guess that they do, because they're slaves, right? Or non-humans, whatever it is. Interesting. Which means that there are non-white hair people in the cities, but they're hidden. Because all we see is what's on the streets, what's on the surface level. Maybe they're not allowed in the capital. Like, maybe it's full segregation and they're elsewhere. But this idea of a mistress, it's a little something weird. It's a little something weird here. Intriguing. And she drops the thing, and that transitions us over to here. Flip, blop, splat, no! And it all falls down. And while it all falls down, her squad, a bunch of them fucking die, and she feels for it. And she loses the leader. Loses about half of her members. Okay, the enemy is retreating. You can leave. I'm so sorry about them. Thank you for your kind words. And by the way, you're going to be a new squadron. I'm going somewhere else. Thank you for everything. That's great news. You're going to be the commander for Spearhead. You have my deepest sympathies. Have fun meeting the Reaper. Neat. It's a good setup. It's really good. Okay, so we get this moment. She makes the choice to pull out her thing and make contact. Spearhead. And in that contact, she freezes with the ink blowing out on the page. And we turn our attention to the far beyond, the countryside, out in District 86, we assume, where these soldiers live. And we meet ya boy. All right, ya boy is Kirito or Sosuke Sagara. Actually, closer to Sosuke Sagara, probably. Fuck, bunch of Japanese titled books. Damn it, I was really hoping that I could read all of those. That's super duper duper unfortunate. I would love to know what books they think he would be reading. So he pulls out the little red book. It's not Kant and it's not Young, is it? Because the little red book is Young. Eggs, happy families, lots of characters, the previous squad leaders, and how they sucked. Pig, blah, blah, blah. Meet this guy, he's too handsome, so he has to die. Ya boy, what is this? The last word is construction. Well, it's not the little red book of Mao's quotations. Now there is the red book, which is Carl Jung. I think it's leading something construction? Unclear. No idea what he's supposed to be reading. It's interesting. I don't know. We just don't show it too close. Okay, clang, 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 breakfast time. He gets up, and there is graffiti of the same lady, the same Magnolia lady, here. And we cut to the reality that she is stepping on, which is the pig, who is a mannequin that has been shot and torn up. Something, welcome to the base closest to heaven. Pig. But that is juxtaposed with the way that these people actually interact and treat each other. They are like family. They are alive. Moment of chaos. Cut to a moment of trauma. Boom. And he's dead. Or dying. This glimmering swarm of these, like, bat creatures that are mechanical with, like, little things on them. What the fuck are those? I don't even know. They're horrifying, though. We get this moment of one of them twitching in the water, dying. It's really interesting. And everybody calms and quietly watches as he walks up to the injured man and without a word, without a thought, calmly shoots him in the head. His light goes out. All of them go red. They are recalled to base, and we end. Fucking glory to the Spearhead Squadron. Why do they have a limited service term if they're not humans? Why are they pigs? What has happened? And hello, Handler 1. This is Shinigami. And they draw her out, what they think she is. And we have our OP. And I didn't see anything in the OP that stood out as particularly something I could read into. I just don't know. There's a lot of symbolism present, but I'm not sure what the deal is with it, mostly. And our next episode is Spearhead. Okay. Visually, so far, not a treat in the way that people have said that it would be, but also utterly inoffensive. Does nothing to either really bore me or turn me off or put me off of the show in any way. Seems solid so far. The visuals have a solid eye directing them, I think. And there's an interesting story present in the backdrop of this show that we're going to find out about as we find out more about these characters. I think as a way of introducing a two-pronged story where we've got two main characters in two different places doing different things who will interact over the course of the story, this jumping back and forth between them was really excellently done, and I think that this episode gives us a really solid view of the world via a lot of exposition, which is unfortunate but necessary, and I think they did the best they could possibly do with that exposition, and in many cases chose to show us instead of telling us what was going on. We're told that he carries the souls of the people along with him, but the way we are shown that process leaves a lot of questions in our minds, like, really? Or superstitiously? Or like, what? What's going on here? Curious. Very curious. And now he may meet his match in an empathetic human. Okay. Cool. My big questions are big questions. I've got few little questions, right? I think I understand where our main two characters are in their journey at the moment, at least the static point at which they are. I don't understand their whole past, I don't understand their whole future, but I understand the present, and that's fine. The episode did that effectively. To some extent, I understand the nation of San Magnolia. It makes sense thematically and like hegemonically as a powerful nation. And I think I understand the concept of the war that they're in, but there are a lot of big picture questions. A lot of them have to do with this racism dynamic that's present in the show. I'm really curious about how we're building that out and what the fuck is going on there and why it's allowable. And who knows about it, because it's not cool. And that's it. That's like everything. So this has been episode 1 of 86. I think it was solidly enjoyable, and I am solidly interested in watching more. Cool. I don't feel ecstatic about it, and I also don't feel down about it. Feels good. Feels good, man. Feels like good show. Curious to see more and see it flesh out in the way that a lot of people have said it does. So, that's it. Thanks for watching. I've been Teeaboo. This has been episode 1 of 86, the animation. I hope you've enjoyed it as much or more than I have, and I hope to catch you next week when we watch another one. Please write any thoughts or comments that you have down in the comments, and come next week, if there are good comments, I may bring them up in the intro discussion, and shout you out for writing good things. So consider that and write good things, write good comments, and maybe we'll see what we get out of it, and we can have more voices to discuss, and that's always fun. Cool. See you next week for more 86. Peace.